That's my boss. Okay, so Adobe XD combines all the design, prototyping, and sharing tools that you need into one seamless experience here on the desktop. And just like Jamie says, we use XD every day at Adobe. In fact, this is a project file from Photoshop on iPad, which Emily demoed for you a little while ago. We designed it all from scratch right here in XD, as you can see, using our Spectrum design system, loaded up, fired up, ready to go right here in my assets panel. So XD is really critical to the way we work at Adobe. Okay, so the first version of XD came out 2 years ago at Max. Since then, we've shipped over 150 new features, which is a ton of stuff to keep up with. So today, I just want to highlight a couple of the major areas where we've really leapt ahead. And the first is speed. Now, XD's always been super fast. Just look at the way I can zoom in and out, super fast and performant. But we've also created some features that make it really easy for designers to work even faster than they ever have before. And the first feature is called components. Now, I've got a master component here. And if you've worked with symbols or smart objects, you'll know how this works right away. So this is a master component. And what I'm going to do is change the type here. Whoops. From regular to bold. And then I'm also going to change the fill color to white. And just as you would expect, that's going to update right away on all the child instances of that component that I've got on all these other artboards. But components are even more powerful than that, because I can also override specific properties on those child instances while keeping a link back to the master. So let me show you how we do that. I'm just going to drag here to get a new copy of this component. I'm going to turn on my guides and grids here. And what I'm going to do is override a lot of these layout properties in order to turn this into more of a card layout. So I'm using XD's amazing responsive resize to do a lot of that layout work for me. And let's grab this icon here. And I'm going to override the size and position properties here in order to put it front and center. A few more finishing touches, like let's override the background fill color here, change it from gray to blue. So, oops. So just like that, I've got a new instance of this component. It's really different from the other instances, but like every instance, it's still linked back to the master. So if I want to make any changes on the master, they're going to sync everywhere that I haven't yet overridden the property. So the rounded corners on this card, a bit too sharp for my taste. I actually want to change them globally. So on the master, let's just grab the corner here and pull on it. And as you can see, that updates in real time. Even with all those changes I made on the new instance, that corner is rounding just as you would expect. And also, while we're at it, let's change up the position for the scrubber, too. It should really be at 72%, just like the readout says. So I'm just going to grab it and move it to the right. And as I move it, note that it's also moving on all these other artboards in real time. Let me zoom out so you can see how across the whole project it's moving just like that. So just a taste of the kind of sophisticated control that you have over your design solution with components only in XD. No other tool gives you this kind of power. All right. So now let's talk about designing interactions and creating rich interactivity in XD, which is really straightforward with our prototyping features. But if I've got a feature, a screen like this one, with a ton of interactivity, like these switches here that need to get flipped on and off, you can see on the screen I've designed them to turn green, or different areas that need to open up and reveal different cards or other UI elements, what I'm going to need to do is duplicate this same artboard again and again, and just so that I can simulate each piece of interactivity. And before too long, I've got a pretty cluttered workspace. And once I start to wire everything up for prototyping mode, things are going to get even more crazy. Look at all those wires I'll have to deal with. Well, in the new version of XD, we can actually just delete all these artboards, because now I can do everything on one artboard, thanks to a new feature we've got called states. Now, states is a way of stashing interactivity, so to speak, into components. So let me show you how this works on the switches. What I've done is I've turned the switches into components, and I've added a tap state to it. You can see here on the right side my property inspector, and that tap state is green, and it flips to the top. And I've used that same component on all these widgets here. And I've also designed some even more ambitious states. So this little weather widget up here, when the user rolls over it, what I've done is I've created a hover state that reveals a little pop-over menu with a full weather forecast. So let's actually just take a look at this prototype in action so you can see the real power of states. So here's my desktop preview window. I can flip these switches on and off, and I can actually do that in any combination, which is actually something that was really difficult to do using the duplicate artboard method that I was using earlier. And here is that weather widget. If I roll over it, you get the full forecast. Also notice there's a little bit of motion there, and that's because states works with XD's auto-animate feature, which is our amazing visual prototyping method. It makes it really easy to add motion to anything, including states. So the transitions in and out of states are super elegant. States can also take on any size or dimension. So this tall, narrow state here, if I click on it, it just sweeps open with auto-animate, takes over that whole bottom of the screen. All this interactivity just with one artboard, thanks to states. Thank you. Okay. So these features are going to make any designer faster, but if you work on a team of designers, that's where XD really shines, because XD was built for teams of designers to collaborate. And a key way that we do that is with our support for design systems. So here's a design system we created for this project. This is just a way of organizing and capturing all of my colors, my type, my, my type, my buttons, everything that I need to keep my whole design team working from a single source of truth. And in XD, our design systems are stored in the cloud. And that means that I can access them from work or from home. It also means that my whole team can get to this one single same design systems document. You can see here's a list of everybody who has access to the document. They can edit it at any time. And we can be sure we're not going to overwrite one another's work, because as a cloud document, this design system comes with automatic versioning built right in. So you can see here, this menu shows a long list of the revisions that we've made to this one document over time. If I want to save any of them, I can just click on this little bookmark. I'm just going to say Max Demo. And just like that, this is a new permanent milestone that I can revert back to at any time. All right, so thank you. Those are some of the basics of design systems. Now let's actually start using those assets here in this project where I'm working this morning. What I want to do is get those assets here into my document. So under Shared with You, here's the name of that document, Base Design System. Double-click on it. And just like that, XD is going to grab all those assets and it's drop them right here into the Assets panel. If I want to see just what's in that system, filter by the name. And I've got a shorter list. And now I can start using some of these elements right here on Canvas. So the team has been working to design a bunch of widgets that I want to use. And this first one here is a login widget. I don't know why I can't move this stuff. Sorry. My mouse is not working again this year. Oh, wait, there we go. Can I get a different mouse or switch, please? Guys, this is just a ploy to solicit your sympathy. So while we're doing this, if you can just feel bad for me for a moment. OK, so here we are in this document. So what I'm going to do is move over here. I'm sorry, this trackpad is not working for me. Guys. Yes. So what are you guys up to this morning? Oh, I'm sorry. OK. Yes, mouse. OK. So actually, maybe we can go back over here. Sorry, the machine is frozen or something. I can't seem to pan. It's not just the mouse. OK. Whoa. All right. OK, this is going to work. Look at that. Amazing mousing skills. Amazing mousing skills. OK. All right, so now I've got these assets from my design system, and I can actually just start using them. So it's really important to note, I'm not just using a copy of what's in that design system. I'm actually using the live assets that are linked to the real design system in the cloud. So if there are any changes, I can get notified here and update them right away. In fact, the team has been working off stage. It looks like there have been some changes. I can tell because of this little blue link here. And if I roll over it, I get a preview of how that's going to change. So I click on it, and that is going to update just like that. And I've got the latest and greatest from the design system. So you can see XD makes it really easy for me to share my work, my assets, my whole design system with my team. But we've gone even further and built an even more powerful feature on top of that same cloud foundation. And that is the ability to work in real time in the same document with my whole team. And we call this feature co-editing, and it's amazing. This is like Google Docs for design, but with all the richness and robustness of a desktop app. And in fact, I've invited my whole team to start working here. You can see these artboards coming online now. Everybody's color-coded, so I can see who's working on what. This is so transformative for the design process because now we can see what everybody's working on at any one time. In fact, this is the way that the team at Adobe is working more and more every day. We love the transparency, the immediacy, and the richness and robustness and speed of a true desktop app. Nobody else can provide that. All right, so those are just a few of the enhancements we've made recently to the speed of design in XD, tools for collaborating on teams of designers, and also just some amazing enhancements overall. So if you haven't tried XD yet, go out, download it now. It's more powerful than ever. And if you have tried XD, you've got some amazing new features to start playing with. Download it and make something awesome today. Thanks very much for your forbearance. Take care.